All right, let's dive in. Today, we're unpacking a really powerful way to look at relationships, a framework that helps you turn those inevitable struggles into huge opportunities for growth. It's all based on the book, The Inner Work of Relationships. Let's get started. We have to start with this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. Our relationships are like everything. They're the foundation of our happiness. But let's be real, so many of us find them to be a huge source of pain. Well, this explainer is going to give you a map to change that, to move from that subconscious pain into a really conscious kind of love. So, first things first, we need to have a little breakup with the whole idea of true love we've been sold our whole lives. We've all been fed this fairy tale, right? That if it's true love, it should just be easy, effortless. But what this book argues is that the reality is the exact opposite. All that friction, that discomfort that we try so hard to avoid, that's actually the doorway to a much, much deeper connection. And this brings us to the absolute heart of the matter, inner work. See, it's not about finding some perfect person who never pushes your buttons. It's about having the courage to look at your own stuff, your own wounds, your own defenses, and then committing to build the love you both actually want together. But okay, why is this inner work so critical? Well, it's because most of those fights you keep having over and over again, they're not actually about the dishes or the money or being late. They come from somewhere much, much deeper. And that source is what the book calls the wounded inner child. Now, this isn't just some fluffy therapy jargon. Think about it. It's that young, vulnerable part of you that got hurt a long time ago. And now it's trying to run your adult relationships from a place of fear, often creating the very disconnection it's so desperately trying to prevent. Let's make this super concrete so you can see how it works. Take a single wound, like the wound of violation. This can show up in two totally opposite ways. The partner who overcompensates might become domineering and argumentative, but the one who undercompensates might become resentful and passive-aggressive. It's the exact same root wound, just a different protective strategy. And this right here, this is the crucial turning point. This isn't about blaming your childhood or your past. The message is about taking ownership right now. Acknowledging where the wound came from isn't an excuse. It's actually the first step toward taking responsibility for healing it. Okay, so we got it. We can see the patterns. But the million-dollar question is, how do we actually start to heal them? Let's talk about building that foundation for a real solution. A relationship can really go down one of two paths. You can be what's called a karmic couple, where you're just stuck on this crazy roller coaster of drama and toxic cycles. Or you can become an inner work couple, where you're both committed to healing together. It's the difference between being on a ride you can't control and actually building a safe fortress together. So, what's the bridge that gets you from that roller coaster to the fortress? It's accountability. And I mean true accountability. It's not just about saying, "Oops, my bad." It's about taking total ownership of your actions and how they impacted the person you love, without getting defensive or trying to shift the blame. And honestly, this is what accountability really looks like in action. Words are great. Apologies are important. But as the book points out, the best way to say you're sorry is to actually change your behavior. That's what rebuilds trust. That's what proves you're serious. So we've talked about the problem, and we've talked about the foundation for the solution. But where does this path actually lead? What's the end game here? What is the absolute highest potential for a relationship? I love this quote from Ram Dass because it just reframes everything. It suggests that a relationship isn't just for comfort or having a plus one. It can be a powerful spiritual practice. Yeah, it's going to be challenging, the hardest yoga you'll ever do, but it's also a path to some really profound transformation. And this leads to the ultimate goal described in the book, becoming a yoga couple. This is when the relationship itself becomes a sacred practice. You're no longer just partners in life, you become partners on a spiritual journey, helping each other grow and evolve into better human beings. So what does that actually look like day to day? Well, it's marked by this real sense of harmony and unity. There's deep compassion and patience. And I find this fascinating. You see your partner as a kind of guru, a mirror who lovingly shows you your blind spots so you can heal them. And ultimately, it becomes about a shared mission that's bigger than just the two of you. So this whole framework, it isn't a rigid set of rules you have to follow. It's a map. It's a guide that shows a path from unconscious fighting to a conscious healing partnership. And that really just leaves us with one final question to you. Looking at this map, where are you on the journey and what's your next step?